Maximus Analysis here for an early video, 3:30 on September 18th, 2015, and we see that we got selling into the close. Again, last half an hour, we'll see what happens, but I'm more going to be concerned about the weekly time frames because we can see that they have, again, we don't want it to break below this low any of these next coming weeks, okay, because that is going to initiate some selling for probably the next 3 to 5 weeks. Based on how they were going sideways, broke down, and they now gave the flag. Now they need to stay above for next week this 1935. They stay above that 1935. We got some chance for them to try to see if they could push it up to maybe a 2030 or something like that. But that's a low probability trade. And again, if they break above this 2011, 2012 area, we would kind of say, okay. We would still look to see when they're going to make that sell signal on a weekly time frame. So just be very cautious with longs at this point, and you can see they're selling or close to the lows of the day so far. And Q we have about the same thing against 200-day moving average, so they need to break below this 42.94. But again, if we look at the weekly time frame, we can see that we have this minor pullback, but it's not as bad as that ES. And again, if they break this low, break the low of this week, and then break 2 weeks back, which is the 41.78-76 area, then we can see some significant selling coming into it. But again, you can see how it has been grinding sideways. Now gave a flush down, so we'll see if they're able to hold at least this 42.50 area. Okay, we got the YM. In the YM, they sold all components in the YM today. But what needs to be stated or looked at is that basically out the YM, they held Apple up pretty well. So this could have been way worse than what it was if they let Apple actually close down. So that was the one component that they had regarding Apple. They sold everything. Goldman Sachs, IBM, all the names are pretty much red today. But Apple, if they let that one go is weird or open and keep going down lower, this could have definitely been like a 400 or 500 mark day. So that's something to be aware of as well. IWM is also giving sell signals as well on the weekly. You can still see that again. We have that same type of picture that we grinded. Now we got a shooting star below this low of 120. That again, if they break below this, we're looking at 3 to 5 candles to the downside. We will look at Apple right now, and Apple again, like I said, they popped this one up, so they gapped down and they popped it up. Again, if they regain this 1720 area, they're in better shape. But again, it was oversold to begin with. You also had they threw the kitchen sink at LinkedIn to kind of keep things up as well. So again, people might look at this and say, okay, LinkedIn looks bearish. Again, not after all of these candles up. Okay, if it breaks below this low, I will short this. Okay, so if it breaks below this 194.89, I will short this, and especially how it closes in the last half an hour. But I wouldn't be selling into strength like this. So I would want to get it right here. And again, you can see if they break below here, it will be breaking a lot of previous things going on. You had Tesla went down, but again, it's a hard one to short because again, if they break above this high, that just means it's not as bearish as the other chart that I showed you. Netflix again, we'll see how this goes. Again, this is just a lot of indecision, so I don't know where they're going to pop this. But again, it could be, if they get up to this 110 area, it could be another short, possibly setting up. I'm not sure. You had crude breaking down, and I think it's at the X contract right now. So keep that in mind, traders. So you see that they pretty much are coming right back into where the sell signal was, the buy signal was last time. So the buy signal is around this area right here, around this 45.57. Okay, so they broke and closed below that today. Again, the pit session is 230. They might float it up a little bit more. This is a significant support that they need to hold, which is this 44 area to continue for the upside potential. I will be shorting this soon, but I want to see them break that major support versus toggle around. I don't want to get into something that is similar to this. So I will wait a little bit and be probably a little bit later to this short than I planned to be, but I'm fine with that using the USO puts. Excuse me, USO puts. So that's something that you also want to be aware of. You have the TLT, the bonds continue to hold this pivot, and this pivot is pretty much from here, this weekly time frame. You can see that they're holding around this 118.70 to 114 area. Again, if they could pop up, that will give them more strength. You have the dollar as well, just kind of just holding. Again, this is not a bearish pattern at all. They still have higher lows in place. So if they could continue, they could definitely break out above this 25.5 area. So be aware of these levels as well. But again, the SPY is still looking very weak right now. Again, it fell off a cliff, and it's actually closing near the low. But they would have a lot of ground to make up, and I'm short this one. They have a lot of ground to make up to even on the retracement to say, even if it's a gap fill, it doesn't matter. They might be continuing. So again, you might see some minor buying or something on Monday, Tuesday, whatever, but there still look to be a broken chart. And again, it's just more for these indexes to be really looking at the weekly time frames to say, oh shit, grind sideways, break of a low. This is what we always, kind of textbooks. So again, you want to see a break of that low. And it's, even if you trade the weekly, you can say, okay, I have a 750 delta, 750. So you say you risk about 375 per contract, but you hold them for a little while. So again, look at this, but again, I would not be looking to purchase longs at this time of things that look beat up. So again, if you want to take something of Tesla, if you want to take something of Priceline, actually was one that sold as well going near the close, but again, it's kind of difficult to short something like this because one, the pop day up, but I'm going to keep my eye on it because you look at other opportunities as well. But you can see that from these you got a lot of sell signals, but I prefer to get stuff that's downtrending versus uptrending. So again, be careful out there. We'll see how they close this thing. Take care.